Good afternoon. This is the meeting for the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority. It's April 20th at approximately 2:03. I call this meeting to order. Please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll ask our secretary, Ron Evans, for a roll call.
I can see that Paul and Francis and Stefan are here. Vince, are you here?
Yes, he's joining us.
I'm here, present.
Okay, great. And our solicitor, Frank Dale, is here also.
Thank you. All of you should have received the agenda. It was available, God bless you. It was available to you independently and also made available to the public as of Tuesday preceding this meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments, or amendments? All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? At this time, we will provide public comment concerning the agenda. The agenda was available on our website, and I also believe the county website, or if there are any public comments concerning the agenda. Hearing none, we'll proceed. All of you should have received the minutes. They were also posted on our website, desigra.org. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 2023 DeSigra meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Abstain? The minutes are approved. At this time, we will have a special emergency services grant presentation to Teresa Agostinelli, a fellow colleague as a professor in higher education. She is the president of the Law Enforcement Chaplains of Delaware County, and we're presenting her with a check. So please join, I asked the fellow authority members that are here to please join me in front here, and I'll say a few remarks, present the check, and then Teresa is open to providing some remarks if they'd like to as well. So I have a few remarks. So thank you for being here today. DeSigra established an emergency services grant for our first responders, law enforcement, police, fire, EMS, nonprofit ambulance services, and our town watch and clergy, yes. And we're proud to present this check today. The law enforcement chaplains of Delaware County are certified law enforcement chaplains available to communities throughout Delaware County. They assist with critical incidents that affect officers, their families, victims, and members of the community. They provide non-sectarian spiritual guidance with a variety of human, spiritual, and emotional needs. This funding will support, among other things, community events for awareness and bridge the gap between our communities, law enforcement, and the religious community. It also provides training in here for chaplains. With this award of this check today, which was also approved by County Council, and I'd like to acknowledge County Councilwoman Christine Ruther, who's here. This brings our total funding for our first responders from DeSigra today to $100,000. So on behalf of DeSigra and on behalf of Delaware County Council, I present this check to you today for $3,058.30. 1, 2, 3.
Right here, big smiles.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I would just like to tell you this is such an honor for our organization. As the president of the Delaware County Law Enforcement Chaplains, we thank you. As a mother of a police officer, my heart is full because you took the time to care for us and those we care for. And on behalf of our chaplains and those members who are not here, I would love to say thank you to Delaware County Council, as well as Paul, thank you for reaching out to Sigrid. We hope this is the beginning of a long-lasting relationship. We appreciate you and we are here for you. And please remember to keep our first responders in prayer as we do. Thank you again.
Let's ring doorbell.
It's chimes.
Thank you so much. You're very welcome. I appreciate it.
Is it hot in here or is it just me?
I'm sorry?
Is it hot in here or is it just me?
Something said he was sweating. I'm cool.
Oh, we're okay. All right, let's resume with our meeting. Next on the agenda, we have a guest presentation from Mary Bethea. Did I say it right? Bethea or Bethea? Bethea, I'm sorry. Okay. And we also have the president of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, Rich. Two tacks on the wall. All right, good.
All right, good afternoon and thank you for the introduction. My name is Mary Bethea. I serve as the Executive Director for the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, and I am joined today by our President, Rich Tutak.
I want to say, first off, thank you for taking the time to allow us to present to you today. The Chester Pike Improvement Partners Corridor, it's a very long acronym, but nonetheless, we have worked with 5 municipalities over the last 3 years to develop a master plan for Chester Pike. And those 5 municipalities have come together with their councils, their managers, as well as some other community members to help develop this master plan. And it's very exciting that we finally have developed one. And I think as many people know, working in government, it's difficult to get some people in the room, let alone 5 councils, 5 managers, and 5 community groups. So it's exciting that we're able to present this to you today. Mary has been a tremendous executive director for the organization. So once again, thank you for allowing us to present, and I will let Mary take away the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. All righty. All right. The Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners is a conglomeration of 5 boroughs. We are made up of the boroughs of Glen Olden, Norwood, Prospect Park, Ridley Park, and Sharon Hill. Those 5 boroughs came together in May of 2019 to have a conversation about what they felt was happening along the Chester Pike, and they recognized that they had a shared concern and a shared vision for what they wanted the destination to be. Another milestone is that we then, after that conversation, formed a 501c3 nonprofit so we could work together addressing some of those concerns that had been identified. We partnered with the Delaware County Planning Department. They've been a great resource and a wonderful partner to have. And working with them, we completed a corridor master plan that Rich touched on. The county was very supportive. They applied for a MAP grant for this master plan, and they also supplemented that MAP grant. And then we went and we formed the task force for the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners. And that task force is 5 people from each of those 5 participating boroughs, with 1 representative from each borough serving as an officer. We have also developed a vision for the corridor with the task partners, and I will cover that a little bit on our next slide. We also recently developed branding, and this branding is going to be used on signage along the Chester Pike corridor, so you can easily identify where you are. And right now, we have partnered with the Delaware County Transportation Management Association for a multimodal study that they're currently working on. This is set to be completed in June of '24. Currently, they just completed some traffic counts and some sidewalk assessments and crosswalk assessments as part of that study. So I mentioned that the task force got together for a visioning session about what they wanted to see as the future. And so I usually don't like to read PowerPoints, but this is such an impactful and important statement that I would like to. The Chester Pike Corridor of the future is a historic, sustainable, and visually appealing transportation route that serves as a regional connector, as well as a safe, vibrant, and diverse destination for each of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partner member communities. And what that means to us is that we want people not only just to come to the corridor, we want them to stay and spend their money. So again, touching on the master plan, we just had the master plan completed in December, and we had the big reveal. We had a launch. We invited members of the community, and the meeting was attended by about 50 people, which included members of Senator Williams' office, and Senator Kearney also attended in person. And so what's included in the master plan is an overall introduction to the Chester Pike Corridor, assessments of what is around some of the current conditions, and they also made recommendations on improvements. And some of those improvements are part of our 5 priority projects, which I will be talking about shortly. And as part of that master plan, we did a public survey, and we had over 600 participants in that survey, which was really great. And we got a lot of our feedback and our direction from this public survey. And if you look at the public survey, one of the answers that they found to be very important that they wanted to see done is streetscaping. And so that is something that we're working on right now. So the 4 priority projects from the corridor master plan that we are going to begin working on immediately, we're going to be working on streetscaping. Again, as you saw from the public survey, that was one of the things that was very important to the community. We are also going to be putting together a business association / economic development association. We are working with the PA Downtown Center to get Main Street certified and to get that business development association underway. We are also going to be working on improving crosswalk visibility. And so those are the priorities that we are currently engaged on. And that's not to say that we won't also be working on some of the other projects from the corridor master plan, but these are the ones that we wanted to get done immediately. And the corridor master plan does have 30 projects and recommendations for funding for those projects. So what's in the multimodal study that we're doing right now? We are, again, assessing the existing roadway conditions. We are talking to PennDOT. We know that they're going to be repaving the Chester Pike corridor in about 3 years. And at that time, we can ask them to work with us on improving the crosswalks and make sure everything is uniform and identifiable and easy and safe and accessible for our community. And so we are right now forming partnerships that we hope to have throughout the lifetime of this project. We are establishing our priorities and making sure that we're following through and getting things done. And when we talk to our residents, we say how you can support us. You can volunteer. You can volunteer for one of our committees. We have a marketing committee. We have a funding committee. You could attend our meetings. You can donate. You can participate in any of our events. And Rich, do you have anything else to add?
I think what I have to say is that when we first started this, it was an idea between 5 municipalities that has now grown into business, into residents, into community support. So I think it's beyond just the 5 municipalities. It's going to impact everybody else around us. So I do appreciate you once again taking the time, and Mary's presentation has really laid out what this master plan has developed, and Delaware County Planning has helped us tremendously to develop this master plan today.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. We really do appreciate your time. And thank you, Owen.
Thank you. Any questions from our panel, from our authority members?
I think it sounds great. Anything that involves having municipalities work together. We have a lot of municipalities in Chester County, and it makes it very difficult to do any sort of planning and coordination. So you are to be commended that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you for recognizing that is a challenge.
Yeah.
I see our guest, Councilwoman Christine Ruther, has a question or comment.
Yeah, the only comment I would make is Delaware County is also involved in working with another stretch of roadway along 291. There's guideline from Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, the road diet, part of it, and some of the municipalities along there have also similar work to come for Eddystone. And one of the things that came out of this, and I'm really bringing this up more for your information, it occurred to us in the course of working on that road diet and realizing that another multi-municipal, you solve them in one way, but there is a statutory opportunity that right now is only available to municipalities, in other words, below the county level. Obviously, it applies to the city of Philadelphia because it's both a municipality and a county. And that is, and they go by lots of different names, their neighborhood improvement districts, their business districts, their things like that. But at the moment, there are opportunities to create multi-municipal districts that give you the ability to potentially do certain kinds of assessments of businesses and things along there. I don't know if you looked at that. We are also looking at asking for we're not the only county that's asking for this. There's other second class A counties that are asking for this, but the ability to potentially have the county sponsor the creation of multi-municipal improvement districts or business districts to be able to tackle some of these same issues along corridors, but being able to do it where you can potentially get financing, which is not very difficult for you to do. I mean, you could potentially do it as a 501c3 if you had the right kind of guarantees, but
And that's been the difficult part with that as well, is with the 5 municipalities, we all have different tax bases, we all have different revenue streams on how we can, if we want to use it as a 501c3, we have to, fund it. And how do we go about doing and funding that and explaining to the taxpayers the reasoning behind it? So that was a difficult, and that was a conversation we had. And one of the engineers on our project is part of the 291 road diet and study. So we have taken bits and pieces, as I always say, and I think everybody does. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If there's something that's working, if 291 project is working, let's take bits and pieces of that and try to implement this here. So absolutely, I think that is something we have considered.
yeah, and I will just say that if the statute changes, it might be something that the advantage that these districts have is that they do have the ability to create I just wanted to put that out there, that it is something that the folks to talk to, Senator Carney's office, I know you've already in touch with him, is actually working on this. And the two places that were cited by the Commerce office were obviously the 291 corridor, but also Chester Pike. So I don't know if you've spoken to the Delaware County Commerce office, but if you haven't, I encourage you to reach out, because I don't know, I don't know if they have much that they could offer as a resource yet, but there are lines of communication that have to be working on that.
I appreciate those insights. Thank you.
Also want to acknowledge one of our authority members that's joining us remotely. Vincent, you want to make a comment or a question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say very quickly, I apologize for not being there in person today, but I really appreciate the quality of your presentation. I want to echo what Francis said. This kind of regional cooperation is so critical and critically important. It's something that I really like the authority supporting when it comes to community and economic development. And I really appreciate the focus on multimodal. It's so important to have transportation options. So just thank you for your work and your commitment to regional cooperation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's very heartwarming to hear.
I want to disclose I'm a resident of Prospect Park, one of the communities in this project. And I'm a volunteer with the Prospect Park Youth Club. And another fellow volunteer, we met at the McDonald's at Lincoln Avenue and Chester Pike. And we were trying to walk eastward and trying to cross 420 or trying to cross Chester Pike. You're taking your life into your danger. So anything that you could do to prove that in the future would be fantastic.
And I'll just leave you at this note. It's remarkable that you mentioned that, is that we did with TCTMA, they recently did the road counts. Taylor Hospital, which is located in my municipality of Ridley Park, there's parking on both sides as well as on the other side of in Ridley Township. They discovered that there's no accessible crosswalk from Taylor Hospital, either the emergency room or the discharge location, to the opposite side. So the years that that hospital's been there, there's no convenience. You can walk down a block this way or a block that way, but there's no convenience. So to your point, Chair, it's a great thing that we've already even seen tangible results within those counts. So.
Yeah. Can you talk a little, there was one thing that I saw as far as one of the 5 points or 5 areas that you're focusing on. Can you talk more about I think you called it Main Street or the Business Improvement or Association or something?
Sure.
Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development runs the Main Street program, and underneath the PA Department of Community and Economic Development is an entity called the PA Downtown Center, who actually oversees the program on behalf of DCED. And the PA Downtown Center will help you navigate the 2-year process of becoming Main Street certified.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, we appreciate your presentation today. Thank you for coming.
you.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, we will return to the meeting for our treasurer's report. Mr. Roots.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon.
And Board. This is the simplest one I've ever done, because the ending balance from our March statement matches where we are currently. So our opening balance, $170,222.21. A little bit of interest. We paid a little over $28,000 checks cleared in the month of March. At the end of March, our balance was statement balance $141,749.74, and that's what it is today. We had a whole 3 checks cleared since the March meeting. Course Vector, 21st Century Media, and grant check to LifeWorks, which was a little delayed on our part, but they got it and they cashed it right away. There are no outstanding checks.
Cool. Thank you.
Any questions?
Can you refresh my memory what LifeWorks was?
LifeWorks was one of the musical entities for the Arts and Cultural Fund.
Okay.
And we had mailed the check, and he never got it.
Okay,
And then Stefan wrote one and I physically took it to their location.
super, thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the April 2023 Treasurers Report. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Okay. And Mr. Treasurer, I believe you have another motion? Or do you want me to make it?
Please
when you
do.
that? Sure. I make a motion to approve payment of Frank Daly invoice of $2,062.50 for first quarter 2023 solicitor services.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Motion carried. All right, thank you. At this time, I will provide an opportunity to our solicitor, Frank Daly, if he has any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to remind all members of the authority that by April 30th, you have to file your annual financial disclosure with information as of December 31st, 2022. I believe that I'm aware that 4 of you have filed, and if the 5th filed on his own, that's fine, but just remember that it needs to be done by then. Secondly, my notes indicated that there is a advertisement necessary for the round 3 of the emergency services outreach and recruitment reimbursement. I prepared a draft of the ad and shared it with the chairman. If you could take a look at it, I'd appreciate it. And I will be putting it in the paper right around May 31st, June 1st. And lastly, I have a little assignment regarding the political donation disclosure ordinance adopted by County Council. I was asked by the chair if that applies to our authority, and my own research said no, but I just confirmed it with the county solicitor and the assistant solicitor. They all are in agreement. It does not apply to us. That does not mean we can't adopt a policy that is similar, should you so desire. But as a practical matter, the only thing I want to point out is that the only 3 vendors that we really have is myself, the auditors, and our website. And the rest are clerical type things. And I don't think we want to go so far as to request that, or of course I'll defer to the board, but request that all of the people who apply for grants submit us that list. When I started thinking about it, the permutations that you could come down with in terms of how many people that would involve, and I'm not, we certainly know that it doesn't influence the board. But before I do any more work and run up more time in a bill, I just mention it to you for some input later on, not necessarily right now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for looking into that and researching that aspect. I appreciate it. Are there any questions or comments for the solicitor? Okay. Moving on to old business, we've continued this grant priorities discussion. I'll open the conversation for other grant categories. I don't know if our county councilwoman would like to make a comment at this time. No. Okay. I know we were discussing the senior citizen population. I don't know, Francis, if you have any more information on that.
My only comment would be that we're about to approve, we will by the end of this meeting have approved $97,000 in grants as well as legal bill. And then we're about to issue we'll still have 7,500 to issue, plus another 50,000 in EMS grants, which would leave us with a balance of about 40,000. When is the next month where we would receive our next?
We'll be notified at the end of this month, and the check will be received beginning of next month.
Oh, in May. Okay. So we'll be back to a very healthy balance, and I could see us having that conversation at the next meeting, in addition to approving the balance of the youth grants as well as some new EMS grants.
Right.
And I think we could step back and have a conversation about funding projects like some of the senior organizations in the community. We could also take a look at possibly repeating our grant to the Literacy Council, which we did last year, that we might want to repeat this year. They have an interim director. Some of you may recall Joe O'Brien, who used to be the director of the Delaware County Intermediate Unit, has stepped in. I think that I think I would prefer to take a look at, okay, what have we funded in the past that we want to repeat, and then start going beyond to anything new.
Right.
But others may feel differently.
Okay. And
If I might just offer a comment, because I think that Ms. Sheehan raises a really interesting point, and I know she's going to be very familiar with this from her work, on the grant maker side in her professional life. What I've noticed at the county is there's a lot of vendor interdependencies, and there's a lot of donor relationships where there are organizations that just always got money from the county, and it's the budget has gone cookie cutter. They just keep getting grants from the county. And it was a shock to their system when a new county leadership team and a new budget process started asking, well, what exactly are we giving these grants for? I trust this board and the work that it's doing in terms of identifying organizations. A lot of them are, and I think one of the really incredible things about what you're doing with the money is you're really able to help some smaller community-based organizations that are really trying to do something good in the community, and a little bit of money can go a long way with funding a particular event or filling a particular need. And I would not want you to have any concerns about that part of your grant making program. I would encourage you, though, with some of the larger, more established organizations, whether it's the Literacy Council, I mean, there's lots of good ones out there, even with our EMS organizations who are facing really unprecedented challenges right now, to be cautious about creating a situation where they're just kind of expecting that money is always going to be there, and to working with them to understand what sort of, and to communicate clearly what kind of gaps you're funding, or if there is a particular, they want to try something new, asking them to come back with a report of some kind to say, did it work? Tell us what your results were. And, maybe we could not only fund it, help you continue this, but we might be able to help other people take your lessons learned and look at extending it. But I think some of your more sophisticated organizations, sometimes they just get a little shortfall, or there's some project that lost another grantor they might need some help with. But I think that, and again, I don't think it's going to necessarily surprise any of you up there, that given the nature of the way things work in Delaware County, there's a lot of, well, you've always given us this money. You guys are brand new. You haven't always given anybody anything. And I think I would just caution you to not become the sole source, that you continue to look to help these small organizations where they can really put a little bit of money to a great use, or trying to find ways to be that bridge when somebody needs it, or to help somebody try something different, but to communicate that they understand that this is not something where just because you got it this year, you're necessarily going to get it next year. I mean, we talked a little bit about public safety and whether we would like you to look at setting aside some part of your public safety budget to help with the cost of radio maintenance for some of our underserved communities that are otherwise going to have a really tough time building that into their budget. If we do decide to go in that direction down the road and come to you and ask if you can help the county meet that need, I think it's also going to, require those municipalities to not expect that they're going to get it every year, but they're going to come in, because who knows? Eddystone, for example, just had a ginormous logistics center go in
the tax bill on that thing is amazing. Its assessed value is somewhere over $200 million. That threw enough in there that it ought to be able to cover their radios. But Sharon Hill hasn't had that experience, but you don't know what's going to happen there. So those are just some thoughts sitting from where I sit on county council. I am not obviously directing you. I'm just sharing my observations and encouraging you, though, to keep your flexibility, because I don't think it's going to help Disigra or our nonprofit community in Delaware County if they think that having gotten one grant, it's always going to be there.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. So we'll continue to discuss this and see what the landscape of our nonprofit environment is in the county. All right, the next item of business is new business. I will make a motion to approve $20,000 grant to Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Part of our mission is looking to help multiple communities at a time. A lot of our special grant projects that we've kind of steered through Francis, we've looked at ways that they can help multiple communities in the county rather than just a specific municipality. And I believe that this is this keeps us on that track, and is also our first foray into transportation, multimodal planning, and those types of things that we've been talking about, infrastructure, signage, bringing communities together in a concerted effort. So I'm pleased to support this project that helps 5 communities on a thoroughfare that's very needed. Any other questions or comments? Right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Okay. Moving on, we have some motions for 2023 Next Generation grants. These are grants with a focus on youth serving organizations. These are awarded on a rolling basis with a total of up to $100,000 for the entire fund. So I will make these motions individually. I'll make all the motions. Several of our members have seen these grants, made their comments, and either approved it, made another comment, or didn't make a comment. But if there were a minimum of 3, I have moved them forward to this agenda. There may be one where the amount may need to be different, and we may need to amend the motion. So I'll start off. The first one is a motion to approve $10,000 grant for Neighbor to Neighbor Development Corporation, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second? Second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. The next motion is a motion to approve $10,000 grant for Boys and Girls Club of Chester, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second? Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 The next motion is a motion to approve $5,000 grant to Chester Upland Youth Soccer, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a motion to approve $10,000 grant for Child Guidance Resource Centers, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I want to make a comment on this. Well, I'll make the motion and then we'll see if there's a second, and then I'll make a comment. I have a motion to approve $7,500 grant for Headstrong Foundation, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Question and comments. I will make a comment. There were recommendations for some at 5,000, another one at 10,000. I looked at the application. Given that there was an increase in need of cancer patients, I kind of split the difference between the recommendations of our board. So we could take a vote on this, and if it fails, I guess we can entertain a amendment to this motion. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of $7,500 grant to Headstrong Foundation, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or noes? Okay, motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Next item is a motion to approve $10,000 grant for Chester Cultural Arts and Technology Center, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second? We have a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. The next motion is a motion to approve $10,000 grant for Harkins College's Youth Court Program, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
So we have a second. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Motion to approve $10,000 grant for CASA Youth Advocates, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carried. I will have a comment about this second one, but I will make a motion to approve $10,000 grant for 9th Street Youth and Community Center, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second? All right, there's a second. My concern, I noted with the authority, is this grant is 4 times the amount requested as last year. And I did get some feedback or a comment, so I don't know if there are other comments for this grant.
Yeah, my comment, I'm really familiar with these guys, and as awkward as it is to say this, their initial grant request for $2,500 was not consistent with what their executive director had anticipated. So it was a staffer who submitted the grant and was concerned that they would not be eligible for the full amount if they would have asked for the full amount. They're a, I won't say relatively new organization, and she just didn't feel as though they were worthy that we would even, offer them that amount of grant.
Mhm.
So
You think they can use it and use it well?
They will certainly.
use it and use it well. They are the only organization in Chester that are taking youth and teaching them, I guess overreaching, it's environmental is what they're teaching, but the real work that they're doing is planting trees, beautifying the city with planting flowers. Just to see the faces of those kids out there getting their hands dirty and learning how to plant trees, tend trees. And I mean, they're doing it in open areas, in park areas, and I'm really excited to see them doing it on the sidewalks in the city of Chester. So where there are no trees, they are creating a canopy of trees on blocks in the city that just have never had them. So it's a really exciting project that Baron Lacey, who was their executive director, is doing, and he is all in.
So I want to understand, I don't recall, did they submit a document requesting 2,500, but we're recommending 10,000?
No, no. I mean,
There
they,
was initially an initial proposal.
Grant.
right, yes, but, you know, they knew what the maximum we were allowed. The executive director kind of passed it on to his staffer, who submitted it without his review at $2,500, because she took the executive decision that there's no way we can get $10,000.
But we are recommending 10,
Yes.
which I'm very comfortable with. I do want to make a mention, though, interestingly, we've just approved a grant of 5,000 to the Chester Youth Soccer. I guarantee she can use the full 10, but she might have strategically, and I did not have this conversation with her, but I would not be surprised if she strategically thought, you know what, they only have 100,000, they're going to get lots of applications. I'm more likely to get something if I ask just for 5. I can't read her mind, but that would not surprise me. And my personal feeling is that if we're going to give 10 to the 9th Street group, because we know they're going to spend it well, and, you know, despite that little glitch, administrative glitch, I would love to advocate for an additional 5 to Chester Upland. I know that it means we would be giving out 97.5 tonight. We wouldn't have much left for the 3 or 4 other groups that are in the hopper, but why don't we get through to the end and then but I'm more than comfortable with 10 for 9th Street. More than comfortable. I agree with you. I think it's a great group. They've been collaborating with the Riverfront Alliance. I think it tackles a lot of issues at the same time.
We have given grants to Chester Upland Youth Soccer. I just can't recall what they've received in the past.
A year ago.
A year
Yeah,
ago.
in the initial grants, yeah.
I think we would want to look at that as well, because their situation may be just the opposite. I don't know, but I'm with you. They certainly are, you know, Janine and her crew is.
Well, maybe we take back, well, if we keep with the $5,000 award, we can't give her the opportunity to ask for more for another year. So it makes me wonder, should we rescind that vote?
Well, let's stick with 9th Street for now.
Pardon me? Let's stick with 9th Street for now. Correct. Yes, I agree.
Any other comments concerning this motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? I will abstain. Motion carries. We have another motion to approve $10,000 grant for Chester Housing Initiatives, subject to county council approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? I do have a comment. It's kind of a middling comment, if you might call it that. The grant application was for the purchase of food for the general public that is served by Chester Housing Initiatives. And I felt as though there wasn't enough focus on youth, since it's supposed to be a youth serving organizations. I do know that several households are comprised of youth, so it would benefit those households with youth in them. But I understanding that there is an adjustment to the application that Mr. Roots has received, and I'll let him make that comment.
Yeah, when I saw your comment, I couldn't agree more. This is a grant specific to youth and what they do. And they specifically asked to supplement their boxes of food. There's a garden. They put, let's just say in simple terms, they take food from the garden and supplement it with purchased food. And that was their ask. But also in their application, they mentioned that it's the youth that pack the boxes and tend the farm and, you know, throughout the season. So I had a conversation as a result of seeing this with the executive director of the Chester Housing Authority or Chester Housing Initiative in this case, and asked him to, could he refocus that application or make an adjustment to the application so that the money is specifically for the youth. I got that letter today. I'm not sure if all of you have seen it, but I will read it as it's written because I think this is really important to determine whether we or how we vote today. Dear Stefan and Paul, thank you kindly for your consideration for our requests for DeSigra funding in response to your questions. The age range of the youth workers will be 14 to 21 years of age. The estimated amount of pay through the summer is $14,000. With your approval, funds will be used for supplies to assure the workers' experience is both productive and educational. It could also serve to ensure we can employ the maximum number of youth who apply. And again, we appreciate the support your organization provides in assisting nonprofit ventures like ours to have a greater impact in giving Chester children a leg up in their education and with future employment prospects. So even with my questions, the executive director came back and wanted or chose not to supplement his ask with $10,000 just for salaries, but for the supplies. And when I hear supplies, I'm just thinking of the gloves, the, I don't know, bug spray, tools, that the youth would need. And I even think that's an even stronger request, that it's not just to pay the, we're not paying the salaries of the youth. We're actually helping to supply the youth to do as good a job as they can for the work that they do in providing food for families, which include youth and children. So I just wanted to put that out there for the board to consider as we vote.
I feel comfortable with the comment, especially since he mentioned that the grant would help to maximize the number of youth that they can employ. So I feel a little bit more comfortable about this motion. Any other questions or comments?
The only comment I would make is that I do think that, bearing in mind the conversation we had earlier in the meeting about making sure people don't come to depend on the DeSigra for funding, how many children are actually employed? How many I'm not asking this for this approval of this grant. I'm comfortable with approving this. But for next year, having some sort of a report in the request for additional funding, if there is one, how many teens were employed? Because, $10,000 is a significant grant. And did it employ 5 students for the summer? I would feel more comfortable down the road with if they employed 10 students and they each received a $2,000 salary for the summer. That to me would be worth contributing to, because the students are actually walking away with payment for a job that they did that was worthwhile. I'm not sure there really are that many students that are employed. Do we know?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was that many. So I just think we need to be thinking carefully about the impact of the 10,000. It's not that it has to be a lot of young people, but it should be a number of young people where the money is being used in a meaningful way. That's all. I think the Ruth Bennett Farm is phenomenal, and anybody in Delaware County who has not been there has really missed out. It's a great project.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Well, I just kind of recall reading the application and thinking like you did, that the food itself isn't focused on children or youth.
Right.
But they made the point that kids are involved with the process.
Correct.
Which made me feel better about it fell into our grant initiative.
It's kind of interesting. It almost mirrors, in a sense, the 9th Street group's application and who did the application. The person who actually filled out the application is the farmer, is the lady who's at the farm. And
Naja.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I can see where she may have lost focus of what the purpose of the grant was and looked at the food, in
Yes.
general, just to keep the program going. So.
Well, so, I mean, 9th Street, there's a lot of young people involved in that project. That's a big deal. I just don't know how many young people are involved in this. And
Let's
it
call him
makes-
now. No, I'm only kidding.
Pardon me?
I was like, we can call him now. Let's find out.
I'm almost wondering, do we want to defer this and say, really, maybe this isn't a youth grant? Maybe it's,
I mean, if it's one or two, it's just a fig leaf of trying to say it's oriented toward youth,
yeah,
or is it really a youth thing?
yeah. I mean, maybe this fits more in with, maybe 2, 3, 4 food insecurity grants we do this summer, where we make another grant to share. We give to the Ruth Bennett Farm. We give to, another organization that's doing something to do with food security. And so they have an opportunity to come to us for funding, but they're coming for something that's what they said they really need.
That's a good point.
And I'm happy to give that a little bit of thought.
Well, we have a motion, so we can vote on the motion to see if it passes. And then if it doesn't pass, we can bring this motion back, or we can do some more research to see if they like to keep their application active.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be in any way a indication of us not believing in the project as a whole. But I'd want to make sure maybe there's an opportunity for them to get more than $10,000 if we have a specific food. Maybe a food insecurity package includes, senior community services because of their food delivery program. Greener, I think they're called Greener Pastures. They do a garden up on 352, Ruth Bennett Farm, Share. And it's a bigger pot of money, and they can still come in and get at least 10 and possibly even more, but I think I'm saying what I already said. Sorry.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I kind of hear Francis saying, should we table this for another time? And I kind of hear Stefan saying he feels good that it is youth oriented.
Well, I think since we seconded the motion, I think we have to vote.
Yes, we do.
And if that vote is denied, it could be tabled. We could bring it up in its existing form, or it could be part of a new grant discussion. Any other comments or questions? Correct, Mr. Solicitor?
A motion to table trumps any motion on the floor.
Okay.
Can I move to table it?
If there's a second.
I'll second that.
All right, there's a
Thank you.
motion to table the motion for the grant. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? This motion has been tabled. Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. All right, at this time, we'll have, we open the meeting for public comment.
Well, is there first, do we want to go circle back to the 5,000 for Chester Upland offer that Francis alluded to?
If there's a motion to rescind that, I believe we can do that in the same meeting. Is that correct, Mr.
Yes, you
Solicitor?
can.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that if there wasn't some indication that people would support the full 10. And it's just not a good use of our time. Well, okay, I'm going to move to rescind.
We could always have comment on it.
I move to rescind the original $5,000 grant for Chester Upland Youth Center.
Is there a second?
Didn't mean to set you up.
No, see, no, it's okay. Hey, I'm glad to see we're not rubber stamping.
Motion fails.
Okay.
Motion
Okay.
fails. The motion for the $5,000 grant
Stands.
stands. Correct. Good. All right, at this time, we will have public comment, if there is any public comment, physically or virtually. Do we have any public comment online? Okay, all right, moving on. We will move to authority comments. Anyone from the authority that wants to make a comment?
I did want to note, I will not be at the meeting in May. I will be out of town. And if I'm able to, if I have some time, I would like to pull together sort of a budget projection with some ideas for grants that we might consider making over the next 3 or 4 months, particularly in light of the food insecurity conversation that we just had. So I'll try to do that by a week before that May meeting, before I leave town.
Okay, thank you. Also, I just want to comment, we were at the Share Food warehouse groundbreaking today. Several members of DeSigra. So this is a great effort that we funded that's going to allow Share Food program to distribute food, have a centralized warehouse in Delaware County to serve our residents. I also want to make another comment concerning, I am concerned about the cash flow of the disbursement of our grants as well. Just as a reminder, the $50,000 emergency services grant, that will be done on a quarterly or on a 3-month basis. So we will accept grants applications for June, July, and August. We'll vote on them in September. They'll be voted by county council, and then they'll be distributed in most likely late September or early October. So that gives us a little breathing room, but we do need to watch as the funds are coming in, as we're distributing, to make sure that we have enough of a balance. So that's something that we need to think about for special one-time grants going forward. And I do want to just reiterate what Councilwoman Ruther mentioned. I think we've done a fine job with some of these larger grants and letting them know that they are one-time grants. We are considering some of them because they continue to be issues that plague our community, such as literacy and such as, indicated today by the event that we went to. Food insecurity is increasing in the county and regionally and nationally. So we will take those comments heartily and in consideration, but we also know that there are some of these issues in our community still continue to persist. Any other comments from our authority members? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion, meeting is adjourned.